welcome to another episode of Every Day is a New Day. I am your host, KimO'Neill, and I am thrilled to be here today with my guest, Jaime Aplin. Hi, Jaime.
Hi, Kim. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. The sun is shining. It's the weekend. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It's a good day to be alive.
Absolutely. I love your background and the sunshine. It's just gorgeous over there. Well, Jaime, go ahead and tell us, what are some of the things that you do? I know you are a coach. Tell me a little bit more about what you do.
Okay, so I'm an empowerment speaker and an enlightenment mentor. So basically at the moment I've been running workshops and challenges. I've gone through an awakening journey over the last 12 months, and I've kind of just had this burning, passion, this feeling inside to kind of get out and I guess not only share my story, but I guess just how different life can be. So I've been running some workshops called Awaken the Power Within. So my first workshop was Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. So really that was when I was hit my rock bottom. That was essentially, that's really what got me out of it. I was that far in that was the only way I could essentially, change my life, was by, starting to change some major things in my life. So consequently, so I've kind of started there, and now I'm kind of working more so with mums. I'm working on a program at the moment, which I'm looking to launch in a couple of months, which is going to be an online course, which is how to find yourself in motherhood. Again, it's very much tied in with my story, and how I guess it's perceived, how I perceived it anyway, was that once you have, children, you just kind of sacrifice everything in your life for your children. And as much as that was done out of love and out of the absolute best thing for my family, it really, 4 years down the track, it really was the absolute worst thing I probably could have done. So, so what I realized, like I said, was that something had to change. And really what I'd done was just put myself on the back burner for so long, and I just had nothing left. So really that's why, I felt so empowered by what I've done, and likewise I want to share that with other women as well, particularly mums, just to know that there's another type of life out there, and you can be a fulfilled mum, and you can be a fulfilled person as well. And I think that that's the key. And so that's really my message, and that's really how I'm wanting to help others and just live, I guess, a more conscious life, and just like I said, my eyes have been opened to a completely new life, and I've never been so happy, and it's just an amazing feeling. So it oozes out of me, so it's kind of hard not to be able to share it with other people. So so that's a little bit about what I'm working on at the moment.
That's awesome. You mentioned that you had a moment of hitting rock bottom, and it sounds like you started to share a little bit about that. Would you mind sharing a little bit more of what that was like for you?
So I guess the beginning of my story really was, in having kids. I was actually sick before we found out that I had to have an operation, and that's the reason why we hadn't fallen pregnant any earlier. So I had the operation, and we got told that, if you want to have, kids, you probably want to have them relatively soon. So I've been with my husband for a lot of years, but it was just something that really, it was going to happen at one point, but it really kind of just got put, really at the forefront of our minds at that point to really make a decision of what we wanted to do. So then my husband got tested and found out that we couldn't have any kids. So we kind of like, well, we always thought that if that was how it's going to be, then that was how it's going to be. That's just, how life is for us. And then 1 month later, we were pregnant with our first child. So having gone through the pregnancy, amazing, had our first daughter, Ella, and then within 3 months, we were pregnant again. So very much had 2 babies very, very close. They're only 13 months apart. So that was awesome, and I really enjoyed that part, and just embracing like that baby and just everything about it. But really it was a couple of years later, and I was a stay-at-home mom. I only worked a couple of nights a week, so my main thing that I did was look after my girls. And I really got to the point where, especially when they were toddlers, they were so close in age that were very demanding of my time. Yeah. And it really got to the point where I was just like stressed out. I've been a mum for 2 or 3 years now, and I hadn't done anything for myself for such a long time, and prior to me, having kids, my work, I was working in finance. That was very much my identity at that time. So I felt like I knew I was a mum, but I didn't know who I actually was anymore. So consequently from that, it kind of was just a downhill slide. I suffered from anxiety and depression for the first time. I now battled my own period of addiction as well. And just, I guess that was just my coping mechanism to escape from just being empty, completely empty inside. So really my rock bottom was pretty much, this time last year, probably 12 months ago. And it had gone, it'd gone on for a while. And I remember, this is the quote, and I love this quote. It's the Albert Einstein quote called about insanity. And it's like, how can you expect to do the same things over and over again without getting a different result?
Right.
And at that point, and like I said, it was like kind of subconsciously on my desk for so long, and it must have just started to sink in. And I just got to the point where everything was just an absolute mess. My marriage, my relationship with my kids, everything was just like, on the outside looked like, what more could you want? But on the inside, I was completely empty. So I made the rash decision just to separate from my husband and just have some time for myself and for him to do the same thing. We'd been together for nearly 17 years. So, we've had an amazing, relationship and marriage over the years. And like anything, you go through your times. And because I'd personally suffered myself, it's so hard for someone to be alongside you, trying to support you through something like that, because really you're the only one that can help yourself. So, so that was really where I started making decisions. I felt like I was 18 again, and like I was actually making decisions, for myself. And so I just started going to some workshops and just putting myself out there, and it really just snowballed from there. It was just like the momentum had just picked up so much that there was just all these opportunities in my life, and things, relationships in my life that or friendships that were there weren't working anymore, and I kind of just allowed myself just to go with it. And then really by the end of this year, I really got to the point where it's just like, this is my passion. This is why I'm here, and I've discovered that. So consequently, why now I'm just getting myself out there, and literally I guess it's like coming out of the closet to a degree, like, hey, this is, and having gone through a lot of, spiritual awakening and stuff like that as well. Some people are a bit unsure of what that's like, but I try to explain it to people that it's really just, spirituality is going within. Everything you have from the moment you're born until this moment now is all within you, and we just forget that. And it's, after all these years, and we just like I said, I was escaping my life because I wasn't happy, and you just build up all these layers in your life that just cover your spirit and why you're essentially here. So really I just went within, and I took responsibility for everything that had happened in my life, and just drew a line in the sand and went, hey, like, I just want my life to be different, but I had no idea. I just wanted it to be different. I had no idea how it was going to be different. And I think that's the most amazing thing about, growing and, putting yourself out there, is that, again, it snowballs, but you just have opportunities in your life that you never thought would even come your way. But you've just put yourself out there to do that. And like I said, and when you've gone through something like I have, and you just want to share that so that you can help empower others, to realize that there's another way to live and to see the world, I think. So so that's, I guess, a little bit about my story and why I'm doing what I'm doing now.
Thank you for sharing that. Wow. What I love is that so two things come out of that for me is, I love that you followed your own inner guidance, is what it sounds like. And maybe that's what contributed to you being able to build up such a quick momentum. I mean, in a year's time to go from what you just described to what you're doing today, that's a short amount of time. I mean, that's a major, transformation there. And I hope it's okay if I ask, are you and your husband still separated, or are you back?
So we just had our time apart. We separated to have time. Like I said, we've been together for nearly 17 years. So it was really just time for me to honour myself and for him to kind of do the same thing. And obviously, you know, like, he wasn't that happy about the situation, but, you know, ultimately it's been the best decision we've made, because now we're both, you know, on our own individual journeys as opposed to just being a couple. And absolutely internal, you know, guidance system. I wouldn't have known that what that was, but when the pain of staying where you are is worse than actually doing something different, it was like I had no other option but to do that. And really, sometimes it's easier to stay in that place because it's comfortable. It's not nice and it's painful, but it's comfortable. But when you actually, like I said, I just knew, and I didn't deserve this in my life. Like, I'd had you know, apart from those few years, like I've had an amazing life, and really, like, I've had to go through that, and I absolutely look back and just know that it was all meant to be, and I've got so much peace in that, you know, the stuff that, you know, happened, and, you know, all that kind of thing, but it's what's made me who I am today, and our relationship has never been stronger, and, you know, we're both doing our own things now to help others, and I just think that to go through that pain and to turn it around to be able to help others, I think is just the most empowering and amazing part of my journey so far.
Well, kudos to you for making such a bold decision to separate. I mean, that could be something a lot of people would just think is not even an option, you know, or because that just maybe, I don't know, for some it might add an extra stressor because, oh no, what's going to happen with that? But I think, and I sense some similarity based on what you're sharing and some things I've experienced, that when you get to a place that's so painful in life, it stretches you so far beyond your comfort zone. You're willing to do just, you know, things you would have never considered. And so you were putting yourself first at that point. I think, right? Sometimes when you put yourself last for so long, you have no other choice but to say, screw everything else. I have to take care of me.
Really, it's not working. And I love the name of your you know, your show, like Every Day is a New Day. I remember, and this is a bit of a game changer again, I talked about before with, you know, the Albert Einstein's, you know, definitive insanity. And there's this one particular day that I remember, and I was still at home, I hadn't moved out or anything yet, so things still weren't that good, but I remember reading something on like an entrepreneur, you know, website or whatever, and I've always been a slave to my alarm. I hate waking up to my alarm every morning, so I decided to put my actual phone away from my bed, so I actually had to get up. So that's fine. I set my alarm. I actually woke up. Now, usually my kids wake me up. I don't usually have to set an alarm because my kids wake me up. But this particular morning, my kids had jumped into bed with us in the morning, and I actually woke up 5 minutes before my alarm. And it was just the beginning. So it was even just that conscious thought the night before of going to bed going, yep, I'm going to have to get up to turn my alarm off. So it means I'm going to be up and moving. And so I got up 5 minutes before my alarm went off. And because the kids weren't in bed, I thought, you know what, I'll just get up and go for a walk. Like, I've always wanted to be a morning person, but I just had never done it. And so this particular day I went out, I just went for a 10-minute, you know, walk around the block. But I called my blog, what was it? One new thought, one completely new day, and I documented this whole day, and it was like it was planned perfectly. I got home and my kids were up, and my perspective of my whole day was just so different. And that's again where I started to realize that's like I did one thing differently, and that's the whole thing. This just builds up momentum. It's not like you have to go out there and go, okay, I'm going to change my life and I'm going to do this, this, and this. Like, literally, if you know what you don't want, so then you kind of just disregard. That's like, well, that's not what I want anymore. So then you start to follow what you do want, and you don't have to change a million things at once, and really just like upheave everything. It just flowed for me. Like, and none of it was intentional. Obviously, a few decisions, obviously separating and things like that, but the momentum that flowed from there, it was just like I was being put back on course. So here she goes, yep, she's back with us, and just come, you know, and just herded me through. And I think I've just stayed so true to honouring myself, number one. Like, I know where not honouring gets me, and I won't go back there. So I think, and that's why, you know, our marriage is going so strong as well, is because we're honouring each other's own journeys, and it's only enhancing our relationship. So it's been amazing. Yeah.
So it sounds like you guys are, rather than being two halves of a whole, you're both two wholes coming together.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
I know some people that when, they're making changes in their life, or they know they want to make a change in their life, they can see so many things that could use changing. And it's hard to know, well, what do I start with? What should I choose? What should I start with? Do you have any thoughts on that? Because I know it can be as simple as just starting with one thing, but how do you choose what that one thing is?
For me, the first, thing that I decided to change was something in my routine. And I think that for people, and what I'm teaching at the moment is self-care. And I'm just about to run a 10-minute a day, 21-day self-care challenge.
Ooh.
And yeah, it's being launched on the 30th of January. So anyone that, wants to join is absolutely fine. But it's having rituals in your day-to-day life that just light you up or make you feel good about yourself. So I think that if you can look at your life, and if you have to make, decisions in your life about what you want to change, the first thing I would look at would actually be just going within and going, what would make me feel good today? What would fill me up? And it's just 10 minutes. And I just think there's so much power in that, because when you start doing that, it makes you feel good and you want to do it more and more. And it's like, even that first day that I went for the walk, I didn't even plan on going for a walk that day. I'm not a morning walker. I got up, went for a walk. And as I was walking, I was like, oh my God, I might do 20 minutes tomorrow. So again, it's just, I think if you're in a place where you want to change things, look at what you actually want to, like what makes you happy, or what would, make the day easier for you. That would be what I would, absolutely recommend, because then you start to learn about what's important to you. And, I've discovered things that, I haven't done before, and writing, I used to write when I was a teenager, and I haven't written for ages. And I think, the power in that, and that creativity, and it took me back to when I was a kid. And I have my gratitude journal here, which I started in April last year, and I haven't been consistent every day in doing it. But I remember this one time, I was still suffering at that time from some anxiety. My depression was starting to subside, but I was still having moments of anxiety. And I remember this one particular day that I was just getting overwhelmed, and that feeling, it's similar to, I guess, the good feelings, they snowball. Likewise, that's what anxiety, for me, that's what that was like. One thing that went, not even bad, but just, it might have put me under pressure or whatever, and it just snowballed. And what I found was that actually writing in my gratitude journal pretty much alleviated the anxiety in that moment.
Nice.
Because you're distracting your mind from thinking about the anxious thoughts. And when you have thoughts of gratitude, I mean, I was driving, my husband was driving, and I was looking out the window, and I was just looking at the grass, and I was just looking at stuff outside, and I just focused on that. And again, that was another big powerful moment for me, because I was just like, gratitude and anxiety or negative thinking can't really exist at the same time. And that was a big shift again. So then I just practiced a lot of, just being grateful. And when you're in a depressed or anxious, mindset, you just think that there's nothing good in your life. And I think the gratitude, and what I flicked back a few times and read at the beginning of my gratitude journal as opposed to now. And I've still got as many grateful things, things to be grateful for now as I did before. It's just that they're different, some of them are the same, but there's always something to be really grateful in life. And I think that's the key. We get so caught up in what we don't have, or or the bad things in our life, but we really are truly blessed with a lot of things. And for me, it was really powerful to focus on the good things, not the bad things so much. So yes, my gratitude journal was absolutely awesome. Helped me through that.
Awesome. I find that writing or journaling is very therapeutic. It doesn't require anybody else or anything else to happen other than just taking time to sit down and write, just getting the stuff out. It's so helpful.
Leaves your mind, and it just, and especially at nighttime, just to do a quick download of everything that's in your mind, and then you can kind of even sleep a bit easier because you know that it's out of your head. So right. I just love it. Things come out that I don't even know was there. It's awesome. So yeah.
So tell us more about your challenge that you're starting. That sounds exciting.
Yeah, so it's, like I said, 21 days. So it's just going to be a Facebook group challenge. So it's $21 for 21 days, so $1 a day. And there's just 21 different self-care activities every day. So what it is just an opportunity for people to explore what they do like. So some days will just be literally laying on the lawn watching the sun for 10 minutes, like an amazing day like this. Another day could be, walking, in the park, or buy yourself some flowers. So there's just a few different things that are different, that I just wanted people to explore different things so that they could find out what they want. Because like I talked about before, looking within, it's like, oh, what do I like? And like before 12 months ago, I didn't really have any hobbies. I didn't have a life. I didn't know what I enjoyed doing. So the whole concept of the 21-day challenge, which I'm hopefully going to run quite a few of them, over the year, is really just to allow people to explore what they enjoy doing. And again, it's 10 minutes. There's, so much busyness in life and we don't have enough time, and it's just like 10 minutes. That's all you need, is just, and if you want to do more, go for it. But it's just an avenue to really just go within and see what lights you up, what makes you feel good, because we should honor ourselves every day by doing something that makes us feel good.
I think even just the act of just choosing anything to do, that right there is very empowering, because you're giving that to yourself. Like, let's say there are 10 different things that you'd like to take time to do, or change, switch up, whatever it is. I mean, just starting anywhere, the act of starting whatever it is, that is very like, whew, like you reclaim a part of yourself, just saying yes to something.
Definitely, yeah, because that's like most things, you might have a huge project you want to do, or plan a holiday, and it's just like all you need to do is start. And when you actually do that, I still have my moments where I procrastinate about stuff, and it's just like, I'm not even starting. So why am I procrastinating? I'm not even, you're holding back, and it's just like, it'll take me 5 minutes. And when I do it, it's like tick, 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 tick. And it's like, oh my God, what did I procrastinate over that for? So it's just, it really is starting, or like committing to yourself, or doing something new. The first time you do it, and I did a video a couple of weeks ago with the new year, and I talked about intentions versus like resolutions, and I'm really one for making intentions on my life, because I feel like resolutions mean that there's lack, like there's not enough in my life, or I'm not good enough. Like classic example, people that go, beginning of the year, or, may go to the gym or whatever. And if they don't go for a couple of days, then they, beat themselves up. And the whole thing about it, and what I said was, setting intentions. My intention for this year was just to honor myself like I had done last year. And that's just so powerful, because if I don't feel like, walking every day, I won't walk every day. I might walk once, or twice in the week, but then I'll write or do whatever. And I think it's not committing to an actual activity. It's just committing to you. So that was my intention. I didn't set resolutions for the year. I set an intention, and the intention was just to honor myself. And
nice.
So constantly today I do something, to honor myself, and my whole family benefits. Like, you just, it's amazing what little time you need to just give yourself a pick me up. Like, honestly. So yeah, so it's and the point of the self-care challenge is it's only 10 minutes. I'm not asking for hours of people's time and things like that. It's just literally the opportunity just to try some things and commit to you. And I think that's an awesome way to start.
It sounds like a great space to have community with others who are also reintegrating self-care and saying yes to themselves into their life, but also a space for maybe accountability. Is that part of it too?
I'm going to take part in every of the activities every day as well. So, the stuff in there that I haven't done myself, as well. So it'll challenge me. And again, it's just like you said, that accountability and just that group, that group mentality of, hey, like, we're all in this together. But then also, if things come up for people and they, like, no doubt they'll be like, oh, maybe a few days through and they're just like, I don't have the time now or whatever. And we can just kind of, softly go through that, not like, like a PT, like, you're not doing stuff today or whatever, but just in a, really, I want to make it just a fun and interactive, and people take selfies of, whatever they're doing, or, just in interacting and just really, working with any kind of group, you get a vibe from people and it's amazing. And, and I can already feel it, like people commenting saying, hey, you know what, I did this today and I've never done this before. It was freaking awesome and blah, blah, blah. And just, and just feel really good about themselves. And that's really what it is. So it's just gonna be really fun. And like I said, and I'll be doing it every day with them. And there's stuff there that I haven't done myself, which I really look forward to doing. So yeah.
Awesome. It's always great to follow through with anything we start, right? But let's say, like you said, sometimes we start something and then we miss a few days. We sort of feel like we fall off or get off track. But to not beat ourselves up for that, number one, because we don't need to do that to ourselves. We don't deserve that. But here's another thing that I've started to integrate over the last few years is that sometimes I could allow myself to believe that I've fallen off track. But then other times, if I really look at, well, wait a second, what, the part that I was able to complete, did I get something out of that? And what did I get out of that? Because sometimes I feel like I actually believe everything happens for a reason. So if, let's say there's a 10-day something and you only get 5 of it done, maybe that 5 is really all you needed. And, everything fell into place the way that it was supposed to. So not to say, don't finish what you start, but I think that what we are able to accomplish always still serves a purpose.
Definitely. And it's still about self-care. And
Yeah.
I think it's also at, being kind on ourselves. I think we're the first ones to jump up and down and say, oh yeah, like, I haven't done this or I haven't done this. And, sometimes you just got to put it in perspective, like life happens, things happen that, throw us out of left field. And I guess from day to day as well, our vibration, like how we're feeling, like I know when I'm sick, like my vibration is so low and I feel like, mentally, not as connected and just, flat. But I've learned to honor that I can't be flying high and feeling amazing every day. That's not life. And that's unachievable for anybody. And I think that by understanding that we have these peaks and troughs in life that, we go through, but just to be kind on ourselves, to know that, it's okay to have those days. It doesn't mean you're a write-off or, stuff like that. And same with the challenge. It's like self-care. It's just like, and also just supporting yourself. Or if you come back and say, oh, I've missed a couple of days or whatever. And it's just like, but you're back, like still see the positive things in it. And just, it's all about self-care, and it's also not only what we do for ourselves, but what we, I guess, say in our internal dialogue as well, which has a huge impact on, what we do as well. So
something I wanted to mention shortly after we started is you mentioned that you primarily are working with moms, and I'm not a mom, I don't have any kids of my own, but I totally think what you're doing also speaks to just anybody who's a wife, anybody who's married, because for me personally, I'm divorced. And I know that when I was in my marriage, I completely lost my own identity. I thought that I had to be this, this certain image of a wife. And even that, when I think back, I could critique and go, I didn't even achieve that. But, I had this image in my head and I didn't even realize I was trying to fulfill an image until later when things fell apart. And I realized, oh my gosh, I don't even have me. I didn't even know who I was. So I think what you're doing also could speak to, people who are in that position.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's a 3-month or 12-week program that I'm looking to do, because it really, that for me, that encompasses like a lot of what I've gone through and my things that have helped me. It's kind of like my story condensed into 12 weeks. So what I've got months, and I really wanted to start with that because I felt like it's so true to who I am. So that was like my base starting point, but like I want to empower as many people that, are open to that as well. So that's where I guess like the enlightenment side of things as well, and spiritual side, that I'd like to, just people that are open and I guess, wanting to potentially see another side of life, or I kind of look at spirituality like a bit like religion to a degree, like it's just, religion, so religion is all about, same kind of beliefs and stuff like that. Well, spirituality is all of your beliefs, you get some from your parents, you get some from, yourself, or other relationships or experiences that have happened in your life. So, you kind of like, you are your own God, like, you are your own religion, because it's made up with all those beliefs. And there's so many, and what I had to clear of, and it's not easy, but it was so worthwhile, was healing a lot of the stuff that has happened in my past, and kind of just letting that go. As I talked about earlier, with the chat, was like, we're born these amazing, beautiful, unconditional love babies, and as we grow and in society and our parents, and we just kind of, we lose that spirit, that essence of why we originally came here. And I feel like we just get all these like things that hold us back in life, and once you start to shed some of those things, like I had to deal with stuff about being worthy of love and things like that, deep stuff that kind of, has been there forever. And I didn't really know it was there, but when I kind of realized it was, and it was holding me back from certain things, I kind of went back and I healed that. So it is possible that regardless of where you've been in your life and what's happened to you, like, it's never too late. And it's just, you can heal those things. You become like adapted to what lights you up, and I feel like the universe supports people that do things in life that is their purpose and that is their calling. I think that the more people that are out there doing that, the better the world will be. And one of the things I did on this board quite a few months ago, like, my vision was for the world to be one love, and that's really where this one love revolution has been adopted from. I just feel like it all starts within, and it's the love for ourselves. Like, I don't think we can expect people to love us if we don't love ourselves. And I think that's why I'm so passionate and so loving this whole one love revolution, because it's the love for yourself, and that's where it all starts. And then I've healed relationships in my life over the last 12 months by just, again, honoring myself. And it changes so many things. And it's not like it's even on purpose. It's just like, it just happens because you're doing what's right for you. So,
yeah. I wanted to ask you earlier, what religious background, if it's okay if I ask, what religious background, if any, were you coming from before you started developing more of your own spirituality?
So from, I was baptized, so Catholic.
Okay.
When I was, was a baby, and then I went through reception through to year 12 with a religious, Catholic education as well. So it's really interesting because my husband, we had the debate about, public, private, Catholic, where the girls going to go, because our youngest is just starting, reception this year, and our eldest has just finished reception. And my husband, because he didn't come from a religious school, he said to me, well, what do they teach you? Like, they read you all this stuff or whatever. And I was like, do you know what I took out of being, or going to a religious school and learning religious education and stuff, was just to be a good person. And to be honest, I probably lived my whole life by that moral, and just to think of others, not just yourself. So again, it's like, that's what I took out of religion. Someone else is completely different. So that's why I felt like the spirituality, like your own religion, because you're just honoring what you believe and what you think is right for you. And that's what you can do in life. I think that I know I did. I tried to please too many other people in my life, and it just depleted me. So I think, by knowing what we want and just honoring that I don't think you can go wrong.
Do you also work with clients one-on-one?
I've just started the workshop end of last year. I just got a couple of clients on the go at the moment, and that's more so, again, like with the spiritual, development, and just, I said, on passing and just sharing like what I think their blocks are. Like, I became really conscious of, when things came up for me, be like, hang on a sec, like, where did that thought come from? Where did that belief come from? So I've kind of developed a bit of an intuitive understanding, excuse me, of that in other people. Like you kind of see it in other people, and sometimes it's easier to see it in other people than what it is for yourself sometimes. So really just helping them, you know, uncover some of the blocks, and really just, we're perfect every single day, you know, from the moment we're born, like today, you know, every day we're perfect. But I think, you know, we're born here to evolve, and that's why we get pain. That's why we get all these things put into our life. It doesn't mean that our life's not perfect, but we were born to evolve and born to grow. Those things, I don't see them as, I probably used to see them as negative, but they're just, I think they're like redirections, you know. So if you, and like I was in so much pain and suffering in my life, and it was all because of what I thought I had to do, and clearly it wasn't, because it wasn't what was right for me. So yeah, just really, you know, honouring ourselves, and kind of just loving ourselves, being kind to ourselves. And I just think that that's an awesome way to start. So that's my One Love Revolution. I'm still working on some stuff to really promote that and get that word out there. But that's, I guess, my baseline. Like that's what my message, that's what I want to share is, you know, self-love. It all starts within. And yeah, we're not taught how to love ourselves. It's just,
I know. What have you learned about your identity and being connected to your identity? Anything extra you want to share on identity?
Yeah, as to identity, I think that, and this has probably been the last couple of months, is that we are who we are. And like I said before, you know, we're perfect every day, and that's our spirit. Like that's who we are. And I think that, like before I had the kids and stuff, like my identity was my career. So I kind of feel like sometimes we attach, or like, I'm a mum, so this is my identity. But it's like, no, like my identity is Jaime Aplin, like, and I'm the only Jaime Aplin in the whole entire world. So I think with identity, we just need to not attach ourselves or to like the perfect housewife, or perfect teacher at school or whatever, you know, like it's I think a lot of societies, you know, things are stereotyped, you know. Yeah, you have your highs and your lows, but I didn't know life could be this good. I didn't know that this type of life existed, and it wasn't something that I pursued. It was something that I changed because I knew I didn't want to have the other life. We have a beautiful family, and my husband and I both get to share bringing up our girls as well. And to me, that's priceless, and something that's very important to me, you know, is to be there for my girls and to allow them to grow and expand and be who they are, and not just my kids, you know. Like my little one's just about to start reception, and yeah, it's kind of like, I said to someone the other day that she's about to fly the coop. Like, she's 5, like not even 5 yet. She's not leaving home. You know, it's like that big milestone, big now that they're at school. But, you know, as much as it's like an emotional day, I think it's just because it's a milestone. But like, I remember her going for her induction days at school, and I was just so proud of her, how she handled herself, and the legacy that I'm leaving for my girls and impacting their lives for them to make, more contributions, and just allowing them to be who they are. Like, I don't know, I think that before I probably, you know, wanted to fit them in a mold, like, you know, you're a good girl and you do this. But now it's just like, I harvest what they enjoy and what lights them up. And so consequently they can go on, and it's like the legacy continues.
What tips do you have for moving forward? I know you talked earlier about journaling and just taking 10 minutes to do something different. Are there any other tips that you have for moving forward?
Just really, you know, reading or watching YouTube. Just, everyone knows education, knowledge is power. And I just think that, yeah, putting yourselves out there to do things that you wouldn't do. Just, yeah, you never know, you know, how long you've got in life. And I just feel like the whole, you know, when I retire or when I win the lotto or when I do this, it's kind of just like the never. And I just feel like that thing inside you that's trying to say, hey, come on, let's do this, but, you know, it just never happens. And I
heed the moment.
Exactly. That's all you have.
Yeah.
That's really all you have is it's a beautiful thing just to appreciate. And I think that's why gratitude is so amazing, is because you're in that moment. Everyone's got a story. I just love hearing people's story. And don't think, oh, I don't have much of a story. And you talk to them like, wow, you did this and you do this. So honestly, I would just love people to connect, to hear where you're at in your life, or what your aspirations are, or, you know, what you've overcome, or anything. I'm doing more videos and just share some love in the world. So so don't hesitate to drop me a line or anything. More than happy to. My website is coming as well, so that'll be my blogs.
Awesome. So is there anything else you'd like to share before we wrap it up?
Be kind to yourself. Be gentle, be kind, and just enjoy life.
We are going to wrap it up now. So all those out there watching, thank you for being here. And Jaime is a beautiful person inside and out. I'm sure you can see that. And so I would definitely encourage you to check out her challenge and find out more about her. She just has an amazing story. And I love that you can see that she came from one place and within a year's time is in a completely different situation, and she's able to support and help all those out there who are new moms, or even, like I said, maybe you're married and just sort of lost yourself. I totally get it. And so reach out to Jaime, and you should see her information at the bottom of the screen there. So that is all. And so thank you for being here today, Jaime.